There is a sound your body already knows how to make. It costs nothing, it takes 60 seconds, and the research behind it sits at the intersection of ancient Tibetan practice, Navy SEAL stress protocols, and modern longevity science. The highest performing people in their 50s, the ones who track HRV, who know what Peter Attia says about Zone 2, who've watched every Huberman episode on sleep, most of them are still missing this. It is not a supplement, not a protocol that requires equipment, not something Brian Johnson's team discovered last quarter. It's a frequency, specifically the resonant frequency produced when you hum. And in the next 9 minutes, you are going to understand exactly why this works at the cellular level and precisely how to do it to start reversing the internal clock. Stay with us. The specific sound is coming. But first, you need to understand what's already happening inside you right now, whether you feel it or not. Here's what most physicians won't bring up at your annual physical. By your mid-40s, vagal tone, the strength and responsiveness of your vagus nerve, has already started dropping, quietly, without symptoms you'd notice on a Tuesday morning. Vagal tone is your body's built-in resilience system. It governs how fast you recover from stress, how deeply you sleep, how cleanly your immune system fires and then stands down. When it weakens, everything downstream degrades, incrementally, invisibly. Studies show that by age 50, average resting cortisol is measurably higher than at 35, even in people who feel fine and exercise regularly. Baseline cortisol rising, vagal tone dropping. Mitochondria in your muscle and brain tissue producing less ATP per cycle. Inflammaging, chronic, low-grade, subclinical inflammation beginning to accumulate in tissue you cannot feel yet. This is the silent decline. And here's what makes it dangerous. It doesn't feel like decline. It feels like being slightly less sharp, slightly slower to bounce back, slightly foggier after a bad night. You adapt. You assume it's normal. It is common. It is not inevitable. You are not old, but the window is open right now, and the biology is on your side if you act on it. This is not about fear. This is about what's possible when you optimize systems most people don't even know they can control. Drop in the comments, what's the one thing you're actively trying to fix right now? Sleep, energy, focus. Let's see what this community is working on. You can reverse aging naturally, but you have to know where to start. And it starts with a nerve most people have never heard of. The vagus nerve runs from your brainstem down through your chest and into your gut. It is the longest cranial nerve in the body. It is also the master longevity switch. When vagal tone is high, your parasympathetic nervous system is dominant. Rest, repair, cellular renewal. When vagal tone is low, your sympathetic system runs unchecked. Stress hormones elevated, repair pathways suppressed, inflammation accumulating. Here is where vagus nerve humming enters the picture. Humming creates a mechanical vibration in the throat and chest cavity. That vibration directly stimulates the vagus nerve. What follows is a cascade. Nitric oxide release from the nasal passages and sinus cavity. Nitric oxide, the same compound elite athletes optimize for peak cardiovascular output. Cortisol suppression, parasympathetic activation, and what researchers now call a longevity signaling loop. A 2019 study in the International Journal of Yoga found that just one session of nasal humming, technically called Bhramari pranayama, increased nitric oxide production in the sinuses by over 1,500% compared to quiet breathing. That is not a misprint. Now layer in autophagy. Autophagy is your body's cellular self-cleaning protocol, the process by which damaged proteins and dysfunctional mitochondria get broken down and recycled. Fasting activates it. Cold exposure activates it. And emerging research suggests parasympathetic activation, the state triggered by this humming technique, directly supports the cellular environment in which autophagy runs. Most people over 45 have unknowingly switched this process off. Chronic sympathetic dominance, the low-grade stress state most modern adults live in, suppresses it. This is the stuff biohackers have been talking about in closed rooms. Now you have it. Here is exactly what to do. The target is a low resonant hum, approximately 130 hertz. You don't need to measure it. It's the natural pitch that emerges when you hum through a relaxed, closed mouth with the back of your throat slightly open. Think Om. Think the sound a beehive makes at full activity. That frequency is not random. Tibetan monks have used it for centuries in morning practice. Beehive resonance, studied by researchers at the Acoustic Biology Lab in Sweden, clusters around this exact range. Navy SEAL breathwork protocols for pre-mission stress control use a nearly identical vibratory exhale technique. Ancient wisdom, modern science, same biological result. This is the vocal resonance activation sequence. Here's how to run it. Step 1, posture. Sit upright, feet flat, spine long, hands resting on your thighs. Not rigid, just open. Step 2, breathe. Inhale slowly through the nose. Full breath, but not forced, 4 to 5 seconds. Step 3, hum. Exhale through the nose with lips gently closed. Produce a continuous low hum. Feel the vibration in your chest and the bridge of your nose. Do not force the pitch. Let it settle into the lowest comfortable resonance naturally. Step 4, duration. 6 full breath cycles, approximately 60 seconds. Every morning before coffee, before screens, before the first meeting hits. Step 5, frequency. Daily, non-negotiable. This is a longevity habit, not a one-time intervention. The cumulative effect on vagal tone builds over weeks. Try the activation sequence right now. 60 seconds. Then come back and tell me exactly what you felt in your chest or throat. The results might surprise you. Here's what to expect specifically. Day 1. Within the first 60 seconds of the activation sequence, vagal stimulation begins. You may feel a mild warmth or subtle tingling in your chest or upper sternum. Some people feel a gentle pressure behind the eyes or at the bridge of the nose. That is the nitric oxide release pathway activating in the sinus cavity. Normal. Welcome. Day 7. If you are tracking HRV, and you should be, expect to see a measurable upward shift in your morning score. Cortisol awakening response, the spike that happens in the first 30 minutes after waking, begins to blunt. Not eliminated, modulated. You wake up with slightly more baseline calm without losing alertness. HRV is one of the few biomarkers Peter Attia has called a North Star metric for longevity. If it's not on your dashboard yet, that changes today. Day 30. Sleep architecture improves, specifically deeper slow-wave sleep, which is where physical repair and memory consolidation happen. Baseline inflammatory markers begin to shift, and cognitive clarity, the kind of sharpness that erodes slowly and almost invisibly in your late 40s, starts coming back. This is not a feeling, it is measurable. Track it like an experiment, because that is what it is. The science on vagus nerve humming is no longer fringe. It is peer-reviewed, it is replicable, and it is available to anyone who runs the protocol consistently. 60 seconds. Every morning, no supplements, no gym, just biology working the way it was designed to. When you stop suppressing it and start activating it. This humming technique is one of the most accessible longevity habits in existence. It has been sitting in plain sight for 3,000 years. The only thing that changed is the lab equipment we now use to measure why it works. If you know someone in their 40s or 50s who's serious about staying sharp, this is the video to send them. No supplements, no gym, just 60 seconds of biology working for them. Give them the edge. That's what this community does. You now know what most people walking into their 50s don't. The window is open.